Welcome to the Author's Corner with H.T. Campbell. As always, I'm your host, H.T. Campbell. Last week we had a good time talking with LaRon Jones, aka comedian Ronnie J. We're gonna have some a contest coming up here with a raffle where we get a couple of tickets. That's coming soon. Also forgot to mention too that Ronnie J is from right here, from where we tape it, right here in St. Louis. So we're going to continue the tradition and keep it local, just like we did last week, with an author, an activist, someone who really cares about the community. His name is Chris Griffen, and he does so much for the community. He also is a preserver of Black history. He's a young person trying to help other younger people gain history and try to do everything he can within our community because we have so much good here in St. Louis, but for everything good, there's also so much wrong with our city. Um, the May 16th tornado kind of made things worse. Even though that we as a community have come together to do a lot, we're waiting on our city government, our local government, which hasn't moved as fast as we'd like it to be, but that's going to be a weekly gripe for another day. But you will hear this interview with Chris Griffen where we'll be talking about it and how we can come up with solutions because everyone talks about problems, but no one ever talks about solutions. We're going to talk about solutions and things that we can do as citizens and as our young people can come together and help us get things done if we allow it to happen. And this will be the first of a two-part Author's Corner / Artist Corner interview because he'll be back next week also with how the youth can get involved. So get ready for that. So when we come back, I'm going to have part one of the interview with Chris Griffin. I met Chris Griffen through a friend last year, through a great guy named Mike Tree. Mike Tree's a wonderful guy, and I've networked with him, and I'm looking to network with him some more. But he brought this kid to me, say, and asked me if we can work together to get him out here and get him out in the community. Well, he's already got the community right now, and to work with him, I mean, I pretty much said sure because, like I say, he deserves everything that he gets out here as far as recognition. As far as pushing his businesses, as far as pushing his books, as far as pushing his, whole agenda as far as trying to make a difference out here. They say one person can't make a difference, but he's sure putting a dent in the word difference. So, and we just need a lot of more of him out there. So, without further ado, here's the first part of the first interview with Chris Griffen. What? Welcome back to the Office Corner. Here I got a very treat for you. Told you what we're gonna get local. We got a lot of stuff going on locally here. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but I want to spotlight a brilliant young man right now, Christian Griffen. He's got a lot of irons fire, such a young man. We're gonna get to know him right now. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, Mr. Campbell. Thank you for having me on your amazing show. I'm a big fan.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Now I'm just gonna get right into it, man. When I will refer to you, because everything you do, I'm going to share. I'm going to make sure it gets out there. You have an extensive resume, man. Tell me, just give me just a few things that you do for this community.
So I have my own business. It was Juvenile Minds Entertainment, but it's now under a media company like Universal. But it's called my media company is called Hood Flame Media. And what I do is teach youth and adults how to use storytelling to deal with their trauma. And I learned that from my mentor in high school, my former basketball coach who wrote a book. I was a kid that was always angry. I didn't have my father in my life. I had my mom who was a teacher and is now a principal. So I was always educated, but I was just angry because it's hard to, you know, be productive in society when you don't know the other half of yourself. I know my mom's side, but I don't know my dad's side. So when I learned how to write a book, it saved my life. So that's one thing that I try to do with the youth at the middle school that I work at, and also with their parents that also have hard backgrounds. Another thing that I'm doing right now under my clothing brand, Blood Cotton Clothing, is the exhibit. What my brand does is we blend history and social issues with fashion. No other brand is doing that. Not Nike, not Balenciaga, you know, Adidas, none of them are doing that. They may occasionally do something about social justice, but what my brand do, we create certain pieces, like the Whip P exhibit. I'm not sure if people want to know about Whip P, and I don't know if you want me to go into that yet.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
most definitely, by all means.
so Peter Gordon in 1863, he was a slave. It was during the Civil War, and I know you've seen the famous picture of the slave posing for a picture with his back wounds. The background of that is he was on a Civil War base, and the photographer asked if he would pose for a picture showing the brutality of slavery. So he showed his back, which was brutally beaten, full of scars. And so I decided to create a shirt bringing his wounds back to life because right now in America, Donald Trump and his administration is not trying, they are erasing our history. And that picture that I just talked about is the main picture that they are trying to erase. And it's the reason behind it. A few weeks ago on Twitter, I posted the picture on Twitter. As you know, that's his favorite place to be on, him and his family. I don't know who saw the picture or how they knew about the exhibit, but his daughter, Ivanka Trump, I'm assuming that she was the one that saw it, but long story short, I guess it got back to him, and so he targeted that picture specifically. There's so many pictures about slavery, but he targeted that picture specifically. So that's just some of the things that I'm doing, and he's not going to stop me from my exhibit. I feel no man. The I'm just a black man part is a poem told, so it's a story told in a poem, and it's for my young black man, and it's to help them understand that, yeah, we just young black men, but you are somebody. You know, in the middle school that I work in, the young men and women there, the young boys and girls there, they have it hard. When you listen to their stories, they have it hard. They don't know their history, and they don't believe that they are somebody. They believe their history has started in the communities that they are raised in. And so I just educate them as much as I can about Black history. And today, actually, one of the young girls, we was talking about Black history, and I was teaching them. She was like, "Man, I wish you would start a Black history class. I would love to be in that class." And I had to sadly tell her, like, I wish that I could, but I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to do that. But what I did was give her a book about it's a poetry book about a slave. I forgot her name. Man, I have to remember that, but I gave it to her. She was just happy. So that part of the book is about that. And the I love you part is a message to my mom because I love my mom deeply. I was raised by a single mother and I'm nothing without her. You know, I think of our relationship like Tupac and Afeni's
Mhm.
relationship. You know, I make music too, so one of the things that I'm going to do is write a song for her and do that. But the second book that I wrote was a poetry book for my mom, of course, and it's called Your Love Has Shaped Me. And that book is probably my favorite book out of all my books I wrote because it meant something to me to write that for my mom, to help her understand that I appreciate you, you know. Like Tupac said, ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. You know, there's no woman alive that can do that at all. And I'm sure every person should feel that way about their mom if they have their relationship. My third book was a Halloween book. It's called 5 Days of Halloween. So I'm very diverse with my books. And it's just a Halloween book that focuses on different topics. Like suicide is one of the issues in there,
Mhm.
racism, other two. I'm sorry, I haven't read the book in a while, but
You're okay.
it's a Halloween book. It tells stories, but it touches on those. After that, it was called The Gangster of Cape Town. Now that's
Mm.
a fiction book that is fighting the government because they're trying to steal his club where he has his gold and money at. So it's just an overall fun story, and it hits home today because in the government that tries to steal land, and in the land that we used to own was stolen from us. You know, so it touches on that. The book after that is called "Dear Black People Roots." That's a letter to the Black community, addressing so many issues that we have in our community, from jealousy, from lack of support, lack of separation between the older generation and the younger generation. I really do feel that it's a disconnect there. You know, I feel that the older generation blames us. I'm Gen Z, by the way, for everybody that know I'm 23 years old. I'm Gen Z, and I feel like the old generation, not all of them, but majority of them, when they get in these positions, they're not willing to pass the torch. You
Right.
see it a lot with our women, but when it comes to us, man, I feel like us, man, we just so stern and just stuck in our ways that we don't want to pass that torch to the next young man. And we have to change that because you can't live forever.
Right.
You know, you need to teach the next generation after. So when I turned 37, my mentor said, you need to start teaching the next generation now when you turn 37. Even now. The book after that was a it was a book dedicated to my ex-girlfriend called The Secret Garden of Temptations. I don't know if you guys know about Quincy Jones, but he had a
Yes.
song in the album. Yeah, I got it from Quincy Jones, The Secret Garden of Temptations. It's a
Like
romantic
that.
book, and yeah, I love that's one of my favorite songs. I was raised on old
Mine
school
too.
music. Yeah. So I wrote that book for her. And then after that book, oh man, it starts to get a little gloomy because I wrote so many books. Um, man, what was after that book? It was, I believe, oh, this is one of my best books. Dang, I forgot the name of it. But it's basically about a kid. He goes to Mississippi. It's based off of Emmett Till, and on the cover is a black person being lynched. And so this, but I kind of twisted it to where it takes place in 1951 instead of 1955. A young black man from Chicago goes to Mississippi to visit his uncle. And while he's down there, he gets in a situation with a white man. I didn't make it to with a white woman, but I made it a white man. And so he basically is kidnapped from his house. But at the end of, well, I don't want to give away the end. Y'all just have to buy the book.
Yeah, yeah.
If I could remember if I could remember the
Right.
name of it.
I was say, don't give away too much now.
Yeah, okay, I can't give you the end. You just have to, go and do your research.
There's no
But
something happened. Gotta get
yeah,
the book. Go
it's
ahead.
it's a great twist to it. That's all I can say. And after that book, it was I forgot this book too. I just recently wrote this book. Oh, Black Man Healing Guide. The Black Man Healing Guide is a guide for Black man's mental health. In our community, we're told that we should deal with our emotions, that we shouldn't be expressing ourselves, that it's a sign of weakness. And I don't agree with that. We have feelings too. We've been through things too. So in that book, I've wrote it for Black men. I talk about different practices that you can use to address your trauma. And then that book also have a Black man pledge just for us. Wake up every morning, you say that pledge so you can know you're somebody. My recent book is called Hood King. The reason it's called Hood King is because of the acronyms of it. It is on the book too. And so I basically wanted to switch around the hood part to be something positive and the king part to be something positive. And it's another informal book on how you can use the hood and king part together to motivate yourself and to not use the hood as a reason to why you can't be successful. And now my new book is called The Invisible Wounds from the Past. Oh man. Oh man. It's gonna be an amazing book. I think that, out of all my books besides my mom, will be the best book that I wrote. It's for kids, and it's just teaching them that the wounds from the past still exist today. They may be invisible, but we carry around the wounds of Peter Gordon with Peter. So it's an informative book. It's a great book for children, and I look forward to that releasing in October 14th.
You know, there's a lot of people don't realize the fact that, despite the fact there's a lot of problems here in St. Louis, there's a lot of good things going on. But the problem is we want to focus on the problem, we want to focus on the crime, we want to focus on YN, things like that. People don't realize that we have a lot of resilient youth out here who do want to go from point A to point B, who doesn't want to use the hood as an excuse, who doesn't want to use their current situation as an excuse. How do you, not as far as the youth is concerned, how do you get in touch with, how do you convince people outside of us to want to help? Because see, I mean, the stereotype is we don't want it because we don't want it because we're good where we are, which is not true. But we do want to go. So in other words, you're helping, but how do you get others to help?
I'm so glad that you brought that up. So the exhibit that I brought up earlier, the Whoopee exhibit, I made the exhibit not just to inform us, but it also inform conservatives, racist people. The exhibit on October 15th and 16th, I'll be in Southeast Missouri State University. I went to school there. If you don't know about Cape Girardeau, oh my goodness. You sundown town, if you are not in college, you better not be caught out there. There's another sundown town, Sykeston, Missouri. There's no game out there. Those stand to present this exhibit. You have to go to these places for them to understand. Yeah, you'll get um, maybe some retaliation, some ignorant ones, but you have some that really want to understand us. You can't create peace or change with the Democratic Party right now. Here in Missouri, it's heavily red here because they're not willing to go in those rural areas and flip the vote. We have to flip the vote. To answer your question, um, in order to get them to understand, you have to go to them and you have to approach them the same way that we approach our youth with the guns. You have to help them understand, like, look, this is the issue. This is what we need. And also understand, why do you hate us? Why do you hate us? And when they say why, you hit them with love. Dr. King went to Birmingham in these hard places because he needed to create change. They had to create change. You can't be afraid. You just can't. You have to have the courage. You have to have God's strength, and you have to put aside your differences and listen to them so y'all come to a common solution. And that's why, with the war in Gaza, the war in Ukraine, the war here on our own soil that the government has against immigrants, against African Americans, they won't end until we have a leader that's willing to pull both sides together at the same time. Let them speak on the issues that they have with each other. Let it all out, and then and only then will you be able to come to one solution on what we can do to end these wars. We haven't had a leader to do that yet. That had that power yet. That's why I created my fashion brand to do so. I have a Stop the Wars collar shirt that I created. I'm sure you saw it on my Facebook, but I created that for the war to spark dialogue. Dialogue sparks change.
Now, how did the fashion wear? What are the origins?
My clothing brand is called Blood Cotton Clothing, and my great grandma was a slave. And she was a poet. All my talents come from her. She was a poet, a pianist, a teacher, a nurse, one of the first black nurses in St. Louis. She migrated from Mississippi with her mom, my great great grandma, and they lived on a plantation in Yellow Bush, Mississippi. It's still up, and so she has this one poem, two poems, but this one poem it really hurt me to my core. It's called "The Pregnant Woman in the Tree." In the poem, I'm gonna run it down for y'all. She said that the woman was lynched, but that wasn't the worst part of it. They cut her stomach open, and the unborn baby fell out. My great grandma had to live with that. She lived from that time to 2002. She had to live with that pain in her head and that image in her head, and I don't know how she did it. So there's no excuse for me or anybody to make excuses. But it also in that story, I forgot to mention, she talked about picking cotton, and the cotton plants had these sharp edges on it, and sometimes it would cut them, and the blood would get on the cotton. And so I named my brand Blood Cotton in her honor, and in the honor of the pregnant woman in the tree, because that could be anybody's ancestor. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. So I named it Blood Cotton Clothing to show dedication to my great grandma and all of our ancestors that worked the cotton fields, especially those after slavery sharecroppers. So it's called Blood Cotton, and I always love fashion. As you can see, got the bandana on and the shirt and stuff. I love fashion. I love looking good. Whenever I go somewhere, I put on a nice suit and tie, and I look good. I like to smell good. Um, And I just wanted to create something unique. You have Nike, you have Balenciaga, you have these great brands. What makes mine different? Well, Blood Cotton Clothing again blends history and social issues with fashion. I have a line called Scars, which is probably my most famous besides the Wood P one, where I have different clothes that have a scar on it to pay homage to domestic violence and suicide victims. You know, I have a friend named Leslie Washington. She's a domestic violence survivor, and so I partially made that for her. And I lost a lot of friends to suicide, and I just wanted to make something to where the scars on their bodies is a symbol of bravery, a symbol of hope. The Wood P shirt, I explained that. I have another shirt which is for women have rights over their bodies. I posted that on Facebook. It's a white shirt with like blood stains on it, but it's an embryo of a baby, an unborn baby in there, and it's a symbol of my support for women having rights over their bodies. I strongly believe in that, because a woman does know her body, and she should have a right to make a decision over it. So I have different things that I'm doing, and I make certain pieces for museums. After the Whip P tour, my plan is to get in the African American Museum. Really, the one in Memphis, where Dr. King was assassinated at the Lorraine Motel. I thought about the one in DC, but right now it's being attacked. So,
That's being gutted. Yes, yes, most definitely.
yeah.
Man. So, well, actually, that's going to be my next question, but I'm actually pointing towards us as far as this. I'm highly political, and I do a lot of political articles as well as blogs. Unfortunately, I have one or two. I'll loosely say they are friends, but very loosely. How do you get to those who are seeing the destruction of our history, destruction of our culture? And I'm talking about us. And they see it, but they make excuses for it, or it's almost like they pretend not. I'm not gonna say they pretend not to see it, but how do you make them see exactly what's going on?
So I give you a great story. Candace Owens. I'm sure
Yes.
everybody knows her. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start with her. But I used to be the type to just, man, I wanted to debate her so badly because I know I would destroy her in a debate. So my thing is, she talks a lot about how we need to focus on doing the work in our own communities, how Black people are more focused on racism and not going into our communities and fixing it. She always talks about how Black people are always the highest being arrested, which is a lie. White people are actually the most to be arrested. White people are the ones with the most numbers in violent crimes, burglaries, robberies. White people are. Secondly, she says that civil rights leaders only focus on stirring up racism and that we don't go into the communities and do the work. Well, let me tell you something. She doesn't either. She talks a good game, but she ain't in the hood, in the ghettos, in these schools making any
Guy
change.
behind the microphone. Yep, exactly.
Exactly. She just talk, 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 talk. I'm out here teaching them how to use storytelling to deal with their trauma. I'm out here creating programs to help them. So she know who to invite on her platform and who not to invite on her own platform. She invites those who she believes doesn't be active in those communities. And she's kind of right with that. A lot of the civil rights leaders are not in there, but she has to remember they are civil rights leaders. Their focus is on ending racism. Their focus is not on being in the community. Whereas me, my focus is more so with my community and teaching them how to do for self. So to answer your question, when it comes to Candace Owens, I think she's just stuck in her way, and a lot of times you can't change uh people opinions on that. You can try, but it's like talking to a wall.
Yes.
You can't change a wall unless you break it. In the order to break her, you know, Candace Owens, and I believe 2009, 2010, filed a lawsuit with the NAACP to against I believe a student at school or the school itself. I might be wrong for a
Uh,
racial lawsuit case. Fast
yep.
forward to 2016, you wouldn't even know that because she's a whole different person. And it kills me when nobody brings it up in an interview with her. You said you say now racism doesn't exist, but you're the same person that filed a lawsuit with the NAACP in 2009 or 2010. So
Right.
which one is it, Miss Candace Owens? And then to another point, Charlie Kirkman. You know, I've been quiet. I know people been wondering how I felt about the death of Charlie Kirkman. I feel for his family. I feel for his wife and kids. But like Malcolm X said, the chickens have come home to roost. The hate, the climate of hate in America by this administration has been brewing over years and years and years. And that hate has come knocking back on America's doorstep. So, how do I feel about it? I'm not sure, but I have no empathy for him at all.
Right.
None whatsoever. And people can say, oh, he has no heart or he's celebrating. I'm not celebrating. I just don't have no empathy for a man that said MLK was an awful person. He said that the 1964 Civil Rights Bill was a mistake. He said that George Floyd deserved what happened to him. He said Michelle Obama, Ketanji Jackson, and other black women didn't have the proper brain cells to even debate about affirmative action. This dude constantly disrespected black people. And you want me to feel bad for him? Okay, I'll give you another one about Charlie Kirkman. Who did they blame for his death? HBCU's black people,
Yep.
liberals. They blamed us. Come to find out, one of his own shot him. So who's they still blaming us? They still want a civil war.
You
It
know
comes to
what?
the point.
Before we go on the break, I want to talk to you about Ronnie J Presents the Friendsgiving Comedy Show. It'll be a funny good time with host Shante Love and starring the one and only Ronnie J, with a host of other comics from around the area. It'll be at 30314 Smoke Shop at 4423 South Kings Highway Boulevard. November 26th, the doors open at 7:30, showtimes at 8:30. Tickets only $10, but two lucky winners will walk away with tickets this week, sponsored by the Author Splinter as well as Ronnie J. Stay tuned this week for more details. I'll announce the day that we start. It'll be on my Facebook page, either HD Campbell or HD Television, or on Ronnie J's page, LaRon Jones or Comedian Ronnie J. So stay tuned for that. And until then, we'll be back with part two with the interview with Chris Griffen. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Office Corner. As a reminder, don't forget for Mental Health Monday is coming on later today. And actually, this week I'll do two weekly gripes. Last week I wasn't feeling well, so I wasn't able to bring you the premiere weekly gripe. So I actually do two. coming up by this Thursday. So just be looking out for that. But now let's get back with the interview with Chris Griffen. With you, I noticed your interview, but I gotta go one further with you. The governor, of Utah, said on national TV he prayed it was a Democrat, a black person, transgender. He was hoping that it was someone other than say caught, just so it can further their agenda and they can sleep well at night.
They, you like great point. The hate in this country has been brewing, and it has reached its focal point. And guess what? It was one of their own that did it. You know, so you can't blame us. You can't blame the liberals because you are the one in charge. You have the House and Senate, and you're doing a horrible job with it. That's why it is important in 2026 to get out and vote. Get out and vote. Flip the House. Flip the Senate. We have to make change now, or it's going to be a long rest of 3 years. It's going to be a long 3 years if we don't get out and change. People, if you listen, get out, campaign, get out, get the right people in office. I'm telling you this. I know we haven't got to it, but if you don't know, I serve on the civilian oversight board for the city of St. Louis. The city of St. Louis is in a hard place right now. We are in a difficult place right now because I've applied to the position of Office of Violence Prevention. I was rejected the first time. They said I had no experience. The second time, they come back and say the same thing, no experience. They reposted it again, the job thing, after taking it down the first time. No experience. Okay. I know the office. I know what the office duty is. I'm active in these communities. I know all of the gangs in St. Louis City. All it takes is for me to be in a position where I have support to make that change. I can implement rehabilitation programs for our gang members so they don't have to go straight to prison, so that we can rebrain their mind so they can go back into society. I know how to, I have communication with all the youth programs in the city where we can open it longer for youth. We can have the centers open longer for youth on weekdays and weekends because they need something to do. I have a plan for all this. I have a homicide plan too that will reduce crime, but they don't want that. Why? Because the circles are small. It's a pick me circle here in St. Louis. And what do I mean by pick me circle? Kara Spencer has a circle. Rasheen Aldris has a circle. Um, um, I'm sorry, I forget half of their names, but a lot of them have their circles. If you're not in it, they won't listen to you. And that's the issue in St. Louis. It's too many separation when we need to be together at a time where our country is being attacked. Especially now where Donald Trump is trying to send the military here. All of that could have been prevented if they picked me to be the Office of Virus Prevention. We could have reduced crime ASAP because I'm a transparent person. I will work with the police to make our community safer, not to harm our people, make it safer, build that disconnect between police officers and our people. Because I'm not familiar if you're familiar with Judge Jimmy Edwards. He used to be the former public safety director under Lyda Crewson, the former mayor. And we had a conversation a long while back when Lyda Crewson was the mayor. And he said that when he was being raised, police officers would come in the community, hand out Cardinals tickets, play basketball with them, all that stuff. It's far from that now. It's a war between police officers and us. But not just that. I feel that Mayor Spencer's heart is not pure. I don't feel it. I don't believe her heart is pure. And I believe people made a mistake voting for her. Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh, I can't hear you. Think is it my phone? No, it's can you hear me? Did you put yourself on mute on accident? There you go. Wait. No, I can't hear you still. Let me see. Uh, are you on mute?
You agree with me or not?
Hmm.
Whenever we have the youth outside downtown, at 2 o'clock in the morning, always, to me, it's just a matter of us not having things to do. It's not about us just wanting to be YNs and this, not us wanting to just go out and commit. Like you said, you had the officers that handed out the tickets. We had things to do. What is your opinion on that?
I agree. That's why if I had gotten that position, I was going to keep the youth centers open to at least 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. and work on at least upping the pay for that. And then also doing more community events on the north and west side and in Dutchtown on the south side. You have to be active in these communities. And I wouldn't be just sitting in the city hall. I would be out there going into these neighborhoods, talking to the gang members. That's what's missing.
Yeah, but that's always been my problem with crime here. A lot of the crime could actually be deterred if we went out and continually spoke to the youth, and if we had more opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. I feel that our politicians are not actively going to these communities. They say they want to rebuild the north side. They say that they want to rebuild the west side. They say that gang violence is an issue. Well, what are they actually doing to change that? I don't feel that a piece of paper will just change that. You have to go out there and talk with folk to change folk. You have to organize. And I feel that people talk a good game, but their actions don't add up to it. I give you another guy, uh, Wesley Bell. All right, I am not a strong believer in Wesley Bell. I don't think he's doing a great job. I don't think his intentions are pure. For being honest, he was bought by BIPAC,
He was.
bought by him, right? And this guy is also the same guy that didn't want to reopen the Mike Brown case in St. Louis County. See, we as a people have to do better. We automatically vote people out, and we have no consistency across the board at all. We don't give people enough time to make change. Change is not going to just happen in 4 years
Nope.
or maybe even eight. It
Eight
might take,
years, exactly right.
it takes longer. And my thing to them was, you keep saying no experience. I have the experience. Number one, I'm 23 years old. You want a person in that position for the next 20 to at least 30 years to make the change that we need in our community, but they just stuck in their ways. So when I heard the experience part, right, it makes me laugh because it's people with experience in these positions that do a horrible job, that be corrupt, that steal money out of City Hall, they end up in prison and jail. I mean, what experience are you talking about? I tell you, the experience is who they know.
Right.
It's they close people that they know that they want in position. As soon as they get in a position, they do a horrible job. And once the job or the city is so bad, then they want to come get me or somebody else to be in that position to blame when we can't fix it. No,
In other
no,
words, they need you to come wipe up the mess until we don't need you anymore.
exactly. It's gonna get so bad to a point they're gonna be like, oh, let's go get Mr. Griffen. Nah, you ain't gonna put the blame on me for how horrible this city fit to be. I tell you this: in the next 10 to 20 years, I guarantee St. Louis will be a ghost town.
I believe it. In fact, I want to bring up a more serious question. Speaking of that, tornado. A lot of people lost homes. People still don't know what they're going to do. You know, Ameren shut off power when they said they wasn't going to shut off power to different homes. They're trying to get the home together. People just going through a tough time. The city keeps promising to help, but again, that's us helping us. But no one on the outside is helping us. I mean, what do we do?
First thing first, like you said, the city is not doing enough to help us. We have to organize together and rebuild our own homes. A great man, I forgot his name. He's on Facebook. He's building tiny houses. He's teaching our youth how to build tiny houses.
Your name is
He's
Prop Man Johnson, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, he's doing a hell of a job. We have to work with him, and he's doing it and start building up these houses. We have to rebuild our homes on the north and west side. We can't depend on the government.
No.
My question to people always is, why will the people that put you in a predicament you in save you? Let me repeat that. Why would the people that put you in a predicament that you in save you? That's like going to your enemy saying, "Hey, man, I need you to join me in fighting this guy." Your enemy gonna look at you like, "Man, you don't get away from me." No, it's
Exactly.
the government is not going to save us. We have to rebuild our own communities. Like we built Black Wall Street back then. We built historical black towns like Mount Bayou in Mississippi. We built all of this, and they built it without social media. They built it during a time where you can be lynched for looking at a white person.
Yep.
They built this during rough times, so we have no more excuses. We have black construction workers. We have black electricians. We have black plumbers. We have all these things. We just have to come together, put aside our differences, and start rebuilding the north and west side of St. Louis. We've been going back and forth for way before I was born about rebuilding the north and west side of St. Louis. It comes a point in time where some things just don't work no more. We have to do for self. We have to build our own communities. So to answer your question with the tornado relief, the Saint City Hall is not going to do much. They're not. We have to help our people. The ones that wasn't impacted, get out here and help your people. They need you. Stop sitting on your behind. I'm sorry, I almost cursed. Stop
You
sitting on your
okay? Okay, let me stop you right there. This is your show. I don't mind cursing on here. You are fine. You do you. It's all good.
thank you, Mr. Campbell. Like, eh, get off your ass and get out here and help us. Help your people. It doesn't hurt to buy some snacks or maybe a couple t-shirts from the store to give to them. Our my middle schoolers was impacted by some of these the tornado. Man, I made sure that I got them food. I made sure that I bought them some clothes, uniform pants, uniform shirts. That I made sure that I at least got some groceries for their parents. I have to look out for them. And a couple uniform pants, uniform shirts, you go on Amazon, they're like $10, $15. It's not a lot of money. We have to stop being selfish. The world won't ever be a better place or change until we put aside our selfishness and actually care for people. The world won't ever change until we stop looking at people based off of color.
Mhm.
Don't judge a person by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. And until we do that, we won't get nowhere as a community. And they can use as much Rams money as they want, but it's not enough to rebuild the pain and hurt and trauma. that was caused during the tornado.
Can I ask a silly question?
Yeah, of course.
Has it has has any around money been used on the community as of yet? I know it's been
I,
freed, but I haven't seen where any of it's been used.
I don't believe it's been used. They've said they made an announcement saying that some of it's going to be used, but I haven't seen it be used at all. Elliot Davis, who I don't really agree with all the time, but Elliot Davis, he does go around to these areas, and you have to see how many of our people that was impacted are homeless. Some of them are sleeping outside of the home that they used to own. Well, still own, but it's just destroyed. Where is that damn money for them? And
You
then
know,
these insurance,
oh,
then
good,
these
you good.
then these insurance companies are ripping them off. It's like, man, what we have to help them. We have to put our boots on the ground, go out there, construction workers, black construction workers, we need you. Come out here and dedicate your time. Help these people. Help our people, please. We need you. You know,
And let me
electricians, black. Yeah,
and let me go on to just say, please don't do this for a photo opportunity. Don't do this because it's good advertising for you, but do this because it's for the community.
exactly. People, and that's another issue in our city. People want to be the number one man. Everybody wants to be the next Dr. King and Malcolm X, but when the water gets hot, people disappear. You can't be a leader and only show up when good things happen. A leader takes the hardships, the failures, and they come back better. That's the issue in our city. We have so many businesses that have the exact same mission, and they won't even work with each other. What I'm saying? I don't get it. They won't
And
even
there's no,
work with
I mean, and I don't believe in there is no competition. We're all in this together.
exactly. I can't tell you how many civil rights organizations in the city of St. Louis, and none of them will work together. I don't.
And
It's hilarious to me.
and there's
The
silly
government
reasons why they don't work together. I don't get it.
silly reasons like, oh, I'm not going to work with you because we had the same mission. So what? That's a good thing. Universal was created based off of multiple businesses that had the same mission. They came together as one, and Universal music, pictures, all that stuff came from multiple businesses coming together to build one big franchise. If we
But let me
did that, man,
well, let me ask you this. Maybe that's the problem. I wanted to hear your opinion though. Maybe that's the problem with our youth. They're watching us act a fool. Us older people, not you guys, but they're watching us act a fool. I don't want to work with him. I don't want to work with her. For whatever reason, we don't want to work together. So they figure, well, if we're the ones tripping, why should you guys get organized?
and you're 100% right. Um, so I always find it funny how majority of the older people try and blame the Generation Z, my generation, Generation A, for the issues in this country. I have to remind them that we don't have a Gen Z in Congress. We
Nope.
don't have a Gen Z in the White House. We don't have a Gen Z in the Senate.
Nope.
You guys are the emotional ones. You guys are making the decisions. So how can you say we are the emotional ones when you are the ones in Congress and the Senate?
Right.
Every day I turn on the TV, it's a debate, an argument. Oh, you're a liberal, I don't like you, or you're a conservative, I can't stand you. Damn.
Yeah.
Is it the blood and Crips all over again?
It seems like it really does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Politics used to be a gentleman's game. Or, it used to be a gentleman's game. You could disagree, but at the end of the day, we got to work together on getting stuff done. And the youth, because of social media, have more access to that stuff. And then on top of that, the type of shows that's out now also impacts them, like the baddies. Like I tell my
Yes.
young girls at school, you don't want to be no baddie because those same people, when that show is over, who you think gonna hire them? Nobody.
Mhm. So true.
Nobody wants to hire a person that fights and screams and argues the whole time. And I use
But
Natalie Nunn, who was a former bad girl who's now on Baddies, as one of my examples. Nobody wanted to hire her. That's why she went right back to the ignorant stuff. Same with my young black man, want to be like NBA young boy, these drill rappers and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, during the 90s it was gangster rap, but they were standing up to the vice president and president as well at that time. They were expressing their self and culture, not just talking about killing each other and doing all this crazy stuff. They was calling out the government and these people for creating the hoods and ghettos and the issues in our communities. Now it's about I'm gonna kill this punk, my ops. I'm gonna, oh man, he made me mad. I got this AR-15. I'm finna go on this block and tear his street up, put everybody in harm's way. Like I
now,
tell them, man, these same drill rappers that you listen to won't give a dime to your community.
right.
Don't get me wrong, Sexy Red, a St.
Oh,
Louis
because I
lady.
was you actually about to. I was actually going to go into the next question because, in fact, I'm glad you mentioned Sexy Red because her name came up during all this with the tornado. But I want to know your opinion on this.
I always feel that I used to think that, when I first heard her, I was like, man, she wrong. But then when I started to do what I was doing, my Whip P exhibit and everything, you know where most of my support came from? It came from outside of St. Louis. And the crazy part is it was majority white people and some black people that was on board outside of St. Louis that supported me. We in St. Louis have a jealousy problem in our community. I'm
Yes.
just talking about the black community. So now I understand why a Sexy Red and Nelly don't want to come back and give back because our own people are the ones crucifying them.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been crucified. All I'm trying to do is create change and educate us. I'm being crucified by my own people. They won't even support me. When I put all those tags on my posts to try and connect with the influential people in our city, you hear crickets. Crickets.
You know,
So
Mike.
back on
Mike Tree made a post today about that. He shared some of himself and made a post just about that. And
this
he was kind of getting on everybody. Hey, we talk, much as we talk about the youth, we talk about this, we talk about that, but we don't ever support. We get angry, we talk a lot of smack, but we don't support. Because let me cut you off though, I'm sorry.
No, you're 100% right. Like the civil rights movement, it was every day they got out in that field. During the Montgomery bus boycott, that lasted for over a year, but they kept walking. They wouldn't ride the bus. I know their feet was hurting.
Hmm.
I know that they was tired, but they kept pushing because they wanted change.
Yes.
We right now are just lazy. Let's keep it real. We are lazy.
I'm gonna keep
When
it right now. You see this here? This is
yeah,
the phone. Well, I'm just showing you the phone right now. Basically, if it don't trend, or if I don't go viral doing it, I don't see a point.
exactly. People just care about clout. They care about how much subscribers or how many followers you have. And that with that, they pick their own leaders. They pick their own people to be their leaders. Then when that person don't speak up for them when when a black person gets killed by the police and stuff, they like, why are they not speaking up? Why are they not speaking up for me? You picked the wrong leader. You looked at
Mhm.
followers and the flashy clothes and them being a gangster or stuff like that. Then you like, why's my favorite gang rapper or why are they not supporting me? You picked them to be your leader. Malcolm X said
Right.
it best. Malcolm X said it best. Stop picking celebrities to be your leaders.
Thank you.
They don't care about you. They don't. That dollar sign is all they care about. And they being told what to do. Like Clive Davis. I don't agree with, I think P. Diddy's a, horrible person, but you got to remember, Clive Davis is the one that's over him in Bad Boy.
Yep.
Also, Clive Davis was also probably responsible for Whitney Houston's death.
Hmm.
All these executive over these music
Yep.
industries is telling our black rappers, how to build their characters up like clowns. The Sexy Red image, don't get me wrong. I'm proud of Sexy. Look, I'm proud of her. She made a way for herself.
She did.
But the way that she carries herself on the world stage is an embarrassment to
Mm-hmm.
me. You are youth in our community. And it makes the world think that all of us are like that. And that's why I say that it will come a point in time where black people will know how great we really are. And white people fear that because they believe that we will do to them what they have done to us. But we are loving people. We won't do that.
Right.
And that's why that they are targeting us as hard as they are. Because we are getting closer to seeing how great we are. We were once kings and queens. And God's people will rise again.
We will. I believe it. I definitely believe it. I don't want to get too much into the youth today because I want to do that next week. But I just wanted to. I just want to. I got some more questions. Um, what will it take, besides the fact that you get hired into your position, for the government to actually, well, for the local government, and I mean, in short, there's local government right now with Karen Spencer and everything, which I doubt there's much. But what can they do right now to reach out to the youth?
You have to go in the community. You can't sit in the city hall and be like, we need to do this and that. Don't work like that. Action speaks louder than words. You have to go in those communities. I know they probably scared, but how do you reach the people if you're not by the people or with the people? You could talk all you want, but those young men probably don't watch the news. They probably don't watch social media and listen to you. So how would they know what you're trying to achieve?
Mm-hmm.
You have to go in Walnut Park and talk to those gang members. You have to go in Jenny. I mean, not Jenny's. You have to go in Dutchtown on the south side to talk to those gang members. If you're afraid of them, you don't need to be in those positions.
Nope.
Change only occurs when you interact with the people. Crazy enough, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the Kennedys, when you look at their parades, I mean, you see those line of people all on the streets just wanting to shake their hand and just touch them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's missing. With this, you know why? Because they was with the people.
Right.
Dr. King was with the people. You had to be with the people. So Rasheed Aldridge, Kara Spencer, President Megan Green, all of you need to be over there in those communities talking to our gang members, and that's how the local government can help.
And I really don't understand. We're always, again, it bothers me that our kids are out here 2, 3 in the morning running around downtown because, real quick, what year were you born?
2001.
2001. That was just after the malls closed downtown, the theaters closed. And when, which is sad because us coming up, we was two shopping malls. We had shopping mall, movie theaters, all this other stuff. And by the time the 2000s come in, all the stuff is shut down. There's nothing to replace it, and you don't intend to replace it. You're not even giving us community centers. So, what else do you expect the youth to do?
Exactly. All these parties and stuff. That's they fun. And social media is also an issue. A lot of the beefs and fights start over social media. And that's the same thing at the school that I work at. It starts over social media and they bring it to the school to fight and do what they do. We have to get more, not just youth programs, but fun places. This is a great place downtown called the Create Place. They have areas where you can do photography or you can perform. It's just a great place for teens to go to. It's called the Create Place downtown on Washington Avenue. And so we need more places like that, like teen clubs, teen hubs, just fun places where, kids can be kids. Maybe we can have a studio in there where they can make some fun songs. Maybe they can, have a film studio where they can shoot some their own movies and stuff. Learn how to play different games like chess. Just give them something to do on Saturday nights, like a safety place. That's
Yes.
another thing I wanted to do, a safety place where it's a no guns allowed place. No, it's a neutral place. All game members are allowed in, but it's a neutral place. You cannot fight. You cannot do any of this. It's gonna be heavy security there. But it's just a great place to dance and have time, meet people, have a few drinks, relieve yourself after a long week, like long week, to relax on the weekend. I would love to see that. And I will say this about Mayor Jones. She met with every person from every community center and youth program because she wanted to keep the community centers open longer so that those issues that you just mentioned wouldn't happen.
Well, see,
And
I
that,
knew her father, so if her father was cool, so I never know she's on it. So yeah,
and
and so,
Mayor Spencer hasn't done that yet.
and I doubt that she will. So, just got a couple more questions up. 'Cause I doubt that she will. So we can't get to Barry Spencer. What about police outreach?
Oh man,
I
the
know.
police.
I don't think. Go ahead.
So right now they trying to civilian oversight boards in a tough situation because the governor, after the state took control of the police force, they
Yep.
had created the St. Louis police commissioners. And so we are in the middle of a back and forth with that right now with the city councilor's office, who I believe does not have good intentions either. He is basically telling the COB to stay silent and to not investigate police cases against civilians no more. Basically, he trying to shut us down, like be quiet, or he's basically on the governor's side. That's what I mean with issues on the local government. These so-called Democrats that say they're on our side, some of them, is really undercover Republicans, in my opinion. And so I believe that with the police force, we're seeing it with Sheriff Montgomery, what he doing. I think right
Yes.
now they need to fix their stuff first before we can even talk about community relations because they can't even get police officers in the force right now. The ones that they got, it's like, I don't know. So it comes with the right leader. I believe Vernon Betts was a great leader. I mean, not Vernon Betts, sheriff, the former sheriff before Montgomery. I forgot his
I
name.
know you're
But
talking about. You got what was it? I know you're talking about though.
yeah, he was a great sheriff to possibly do that with, but he's not there no more. So now it's like, what do we do? So it's more so focusing on our community right now, and then sooner or later the police will come with it. But I had a plan for. There was another plan I wanted to implement that I wanted to present to the
Mhm.
aldermen. It's a civilian ran force in our communities, where we police our own communities. You know, at nighttime, like you just said, downtown we'll have civilian ran officers. That way, it won't be, shootings and all this
Right.
crazy stuff. That's the issue with our government. It's not enough civilian engagement in it.
So, like I say, and next week I'm going to talk more about the youth in our communities. But back to you. Where can we buy your books?
So all my books are on Amazon. My artist name is Malik, Malak, Mott, Mawt, and it's on.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, good.
Oh, I was just saying it's on Amazon. All of my books is under that artist's name. You'll see all of it right there.
And what's the origin of that name?
Malik Al means the angel of death in Hebrew, but I flipped it to where I spelled it differently, but I flipped it to where instead of the angel of death, my thing is, so let me clarify. The angel of death's job is to guide the souls to the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
With me, when I'm writing poems, books, wherever I do, I want to move people's souls to do better and change.
Mm.
So when I write something, I wanted to touch them. And if they are full of hate or something, I want them to be like, man, this dude just touched my soul. I got to get rid of that hate. I want to change, and that's why I picked the name Malik Almont.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. So where can we buy your clothing? How can we get to know you through your clothing, by your art? How can we get to know you, period? How can we get to know you personally?
So right now, my clothing brand is like doing one piece at a time. The official launch will be the fall of 2026 next year, and then I have a social media for that. It's called Blood underscore Cotton underscore Clothing. My personal Instagram is Southside underscore Al underscore Mott. And then on Facebook, it's just my name, Malik Al Mott. And you can just follow me on there. You can get all the updates on, what will be for sale during the clothing brand launch, what book is coming out. I always post the links to my books on there, and any other information you may need on what I'm doing. You can always follow me on there.
Perfect, perfect. Now,
Yeah, I have a website for my streaming service. Oh man, we forgot to talk about that. But I have a streaming service called Ethos Streaming with my brother. What we do is focus on uplifting beginning content creators and filmmakers and musicians and putting their content on our platform, like music videos, films, albums. It's basically like a 2.0 Netflix, but it's black owned. And so I have a streaming service called Ethos Streaming. You can look on our website. It's called ethosstreaming.org. You can type it in on Google or in the search bar, and you get all my information there. I have a blog site called Juvenile Minds ENT.org. And you can get all like my articles that I write and poems and my philosophy. The world is a drug. It's my philosophy. It's not that's not what it sounds like, but it's basically saying that the world produces bad substances that can affect our minds, and they produce good substances that can affect our minds. And I believe that affects humans in negative ways, like the bad substance, like the substance of racism and hate. And then there's good substance like love and joy. But yeah, all of that stuff is on juvenilemindSENT.org.
okay, awesome, awesome. All right. So now, this is where I'll give you for part. This is only part one because we got more to talk about next week. Always give final word. You give shout outs, you give a message, whatever you want to say. Floor is yours.
I just want to say that, with my philosophy, the world is a drug. It's for all people. I'm not the type to want to separate people. So whenever you are out there, always remember that you don't have to fight hate with hate. Hate needs to be cured by love. So whenever you out here, to my people, especially black people, we need you to rise. Don't hate your brother and sister um for being hardworking and wanting to do better in life. You can have the same things that I have, that Mr. Campbell have. All you have to do is ask for help. All you have to do is ask for advice. Don't be afraid to do that. And I believe that's where the jealousy comes from, because we have too much pride to ask for help. So my people, please don't be afraid to ask for help. If you want me to help you, I will help you. I will teach you the game so you can be successful too. But we as a people have to start now, put aside our differences and jealousy, and do better. And I'm sure we'll talk more in part two about that.
I really hope you enjoyed the interview with Chris Griffen. I'm learning a lot, and there's a lot that needs to be learned as far as what a lot of us Gen Xers and older people can do to help our city as well as our youth. Because he's right. A lot of us need to learn to train our youth to do a lot of the jobs, because one of the problems with government today, we keep rehiring the same people over and over and over, same older people who keep doing the same thing. We need fresh ideas. We need, fresh minds out there. And that could be what makes a difference in our city. So we need to actually consider that. A quick story a long time ago. When I was his age, I used to dole out a lot of advice and I used to help a lot of people. I just had all that energy. And then I got berated by an older guy. I told him, he came to me with, well, I'm drinking a lot of things. And I was just trying to advise him. It's like, not from my experience, but from what I observed. But I'm just giving my opinion. So when he found out how old I was, he went off on me. Yeah, man, I've been in war and I'm this and I'm that. I'm like, I'm just giving my opinion because you asked me. But that's the problem. We need to learn to listen to our young people more and keep our egos out of the way. If we learn to do that, then life will be here a little bit better. So well, stay tuned next week because I have more coming from Chris Griffen. Part two, we'll be talking about what we can do as far as keeping the youth comprised of sort of how they can help. We're gonna talk more about social media and how it can be a blessing and a curse to what's going on in our city. And we'll be talking more on how to save our city. So I mean, because if we don't help ourselves, we're doomed. So stay tuned for that next week. Before I pitch the break, let's go to the community calendar. And when we come back, I'll have AC's 2 cents. October will be a month of special episodes here on the Author's Corner with AC Campbell. October 6th will be our season premiere with comedian Ronnie J, who brings the funny the whole hour. October 13th and the 20th will be a special 2-part show with author, entrepreneur, activist Chris Griffen, where we will discuss everything St. Louis, from politics to issues to where we and our youth can be a part of the solution. Then, October 27th will be our spooky Halloween special with 2 spooky authors, Jenny Davis and Latrell Morris, talking about their latest book. All of this on premiere month on the Author's Corner with AC Campbell. You can catch it on my YouTube channel, AC Television. Thank you, and as always, let your writing fuel your spirit, and God bless you. Before we get into AC's 2 cents, I also want to talk about a programming note. October 27th is going to be our Halloween special. Our Halloween special, I'm going to be dressed up. I'm not going to tell you what I'm dressing up as, but past friends of mine may know who this character is, and the character may seem familiar, but I'm not going to get into it. But I will be talking to who I dubbed the First Ladies of Horror, and that's going to be Latrell R. Morris and Jeannie Davis. We're going to talk about horror. We're going to talk about characters. We're going to talk about the African American experience in horror as well as any genre. We're going to be talking a lot about what's going on with their books and a whole lot more. We may have some surprises coming. But without further ado, welcome to HD's Two Cents. Today, I want to talk about, and I'm actually speaking to my newer writers. I knew my newer authors. Everyone knows I'm big on characterization. Um, so I just want to share this little tidbit. Don't be afraid to write your characters how you want them. I mean, they can be BBW, they can be skinny, they can be. I mean, they can be however you want them to be. They can be write your characters how you want to put them. Don't, in other words, don't put them in any cookie cutter format that someone says you should put them. Your characters are a part of you. I've got all types of characters. Don't be afraid to change their personalities. I have spies who are players. I actually have investigative reporter who can't drive. I have a whole bunch of different things going on. Um, it's don't be afraid to have fun with your characters. Your characters are wonderful, and I'm telling you, your readers will love them because one thing readers don't like are tropes, or the same trope every book that they write. If your stories are fresh and exciting, it's going to start with your characters. You always have to make sure your characters are exciting. Every book I've read this year, every one book I've edited this year, they've had interesting characters. They've had interesting people and I'm talking about from the major to the minor characters. So just keep that in mind when you're shaping your characters. Also, too, um, later this month, I'm also going to show you how I put my characters together. In fact, it's going to be next week on the My Two Cents. I'm going to show you the format that I use to put my characters together and kind of make them human. But the format a lot of people adopted. I kind of stole it and made it mine, but we'll talk about that next week. So that's the Office Corner. Peace. Thank you for always tuning in every week. I appreciate you. As always, let your writing fuel your spirit.